Renata, I want to sleep with you, said Leo Carter, his voice dripping with nonchalance. His vibrant, sea-green eyes squinted mischievously, lips curving into a teasing smile as though he were asking something as trivial as what was for dinner. That lazy charm of his made my blood boil, and I had half a mind to walk away from this absurd conversation. Yet I stayed, grounded by years of familiarity, knowing full well that reacting would only give him more fuel. I forced myself to take a breath. Leo, one day you'll find a girlfriend. You can say that to her instead. He tilted his head, his smirk widening. But I only want you. I rolled my eyes. It was classic Leo. He had been like this since we were kids, always teasing, always testing. Our lives had been intertwined for as long as I could remember. My father was his family's chauffeur, and my mother their housekeeper. His parents were so absorbed in their own lives that they never disciplined him. That job had somehow fallen on me. When he was little, he'd been scared of sleeping alone, so I'd let him stay with me for a few nights. That mistake opened the floodgates. Since then, Leo had attached himself to me like a magnet, always pushing boundaries, always a little too close. And as we grew older, his teasing had taken on a more suggestive edge. This time, his parents had gone on yet another business trip, leaving me to watch over him. They had offered a generous payment, and considering I was still a broke college student, I couldn't say no. But I regretted at the moment Leo started with his usual antics. Let's focus on your studies, okay? I picked up his workbook, desperate to change the subject. Even in college, you need to stay sharp. He lazily flipped through the book, finishing a page of math problems in record time. Done. Can we go back to the more interesting topic now? Like, us sleeping together? I was about to snap, but my phone buzzed, sparing me from another round of Leo's teasing. It was Henry Blake, an old friend from university. Henry was the exact opposite of Leo, polite, intelligent, and mature. He had just returned from a business trip and wanted to catch up over dinner. I accepted immediately, eager for a break from Leo's relentless attention. As I hung up, Leo's eyes narrowed. Who's the lucky guy you're so eager to meet? He's just a friend, I said, trying to sound casual. You can stay here, Leo. I'll be back in a few hours. He crossed his arms, his voice darkening. Oh, no, I'm coming with you. I froze. No way was I letting Leo tag along. He had a nasty habit of chasing off any guy who so much as looked at me. Throughout high school, he had used his fists and sharp tongue to scare away potential dates, claiming he was protecting me. As a result, my only real male friend until now was Leo. I shot him a glare. You're not coming, Leo. Stay here. He grinned, knowing full well he held the power in this situation. Then neither of us is going. I still need help with my homework. Liar. He could do the problems with his eyes closed. I clenched my fists, but before I could argue, Leo softened his stance. Fine, go. But you better be back within 3 hours. 3 hours? Who did he think he was? My parent? I stormed out of the house before he could change his mind. I had been gone for maybe half an hour when my phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't Henry. It was Leo. 3 hours, Renata, he reminded me, his voice as smooth as ever. I could almost hear the smirk through the phone. Dinner with Henry was going well, until it wasn't. As we chatted about old times and his travels, Henry leaned in a little too close. His tone shifted, and suddenly, his words weren't casual anymore. I came back for you, Renata, he said, his voice soft but deliberate. I've thought about you a lot. I was taken aback, not expecting this. Henry, before I could find a way to let him down gently, a cold voice cut through the moment. What exactly do you mean by that? I looked up in shock. Leo stood there, a motorcycle helmet in one hand, his jaw set in a rigid line. His gaze flickered dangerously between Henry and me. How are you here? I stammered. Leo tossed me the helmet. Time's up. Henry blinked, confused. And who are you? Leo smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Her boyfriend. I nearly choked. Leo, stop it. Leo didn't even glance at me. His focus remained on Henry. Let's go, Renata. I wanted to protest, to stay, and finish my dinner in peace. But I knew that look on Leo's face. Trouble was brewing, and it wasn't worth the drama. With a quick apology to Henry, I followed Leo out of the restaurant, seething the whole way. Leo drove like a maniac on his motorcycle, and I clung to him out of sheer necessity. When we finally stopped, I hopped off the bike, my nerves rattled. What's wrong with you? I shouted. You can't keep doing this. I'm not yours to control. Leo turned slowly, his expression unreadable. For the first time in a long while, he looked genuinely conflicted. His voice was quieter, almost vulnerable. I don't want you with him, Renata. He's not who you think he is. I crossed my arms, glaring at him. And why do you care? He hesitated, then muttered under his breath. Because I care about you. The words hung in the air between us, unexpected and raw. Before I could process what he'd just said, my phone buzzed again. It was a text, from Henry, but something about it made my skin crawl. Asterisk, come back, Renata. We need to finish what we started. Asterisk. Leo glanced at my phone, his face darkening instantly. You're not going back to him, he said firmly, his tone leaving no room for argument. But as I stared at the text, a chill ran down my spine. Maybe Leo was right. Maybe I shouldn't.
Search 135777, one novel short, to read book for free.